Be very careful of overthinking things. Overthinking is one of those things where you can create a reality that's simply just not true. You can create illusions of what people are thinking of you. You can create illusions of certain circumstances, how you think people are viewing you, how you view yourself. And then you tend to act out on those situations that curate those actual situations. That's the crazy part about it. I've seen it my whole life. People get too caught up in the trap of overthinking things that just simply weren't true, creating paranoia around the fact, and then actually creating that lifestyle because they started acting in a way that that lifestyle was factual. Therefore, everyone started treating them that way. And a lot of my upbringing personally, I used to overthink things so much, worrying about what people thought of me, worrying about perception. And it was a very big trap that caused a lot of paralysis in my life. When I say paralysis, I mean my inability to make decisions and my inability to take actions that I really wanted to take and also be around the people that I really wanted to be. Because I was overthinking and I was insecure about the fact of what they thought of me and if I was enough. Okay? So overthinking, it's a trap. When it comes to life, the older that I got, the more I realized that there's so many variables that you can only predict so much until one thing can come into your life that will completely change the entire game plan that you originally were thinking it was going to take, or the path that you thought it was going to require to get to the life that you wanted. So that's when I really started practicing the habit of just doing things and not perfect actions, being okay with imperfect actions. So for a period of time, I actually prioritized just decision making rather than actually the perfect action, because I understood that sometimes it's more important to take the action first and figure it out later. Because little do you know, when you take too long, you can miss an opportunity. And when you take too long and you try to come up with the perfect plan, when you start executing it, it's a completely different game plan than what you thought it required. So sometimes it's better to just decide and act. And I spent a large portion of my life going through that period to where I had to train myself to start making decisions quicker. Where are we going to eat? And then you start overthinking what's going to be the best thing that you feel like today. Sometimes it's better just to say that with no reason to why you chose that. It's just because it's better to practice the art of fast decision making. And then the more mature you get with that skill, the better you can get at making decisions quicker. So I found that extremely important. And to not get caught up in the trap of assuming things before you actually experience and understand what that situation is, what it really means. Because if you tend to overthink, you start to think that people think certain ways of you, they think certain things about certain situations, when in reality, you have no idea if that's true. So when you assume too quick, you start acting in a way that promotes whatever fear or insecurity that you have, and it actually starts to create that reality because you're putting that energy out. So it's a very, very dangerous place to be in. So in my life personally, I don't assume. I don't assume anymore. I just go, okay, that happened, but I just don't know. So I'm going to continue to act according to my higher self, the kind of person that I need to be, who I like being. And then I'll figure it out as I go. I don't assume this is what they meant or whatever. I actually go and I assume the best. I assume that everything is working well, okay? Because I want to put that energy out that's positive and that will help me create the reality that I want. And I understand enough that life tends to be a reflection of what's happening within you. So when you're doing good, your life tends to be good. So rather than putting and leading with fear and insecurity that creates more of that, I lead with the opposite. I lead with positivity and assuming that everything actually is working extremely well. And that will actually create more of that lifestyle. And for whatever reason, if it didn't end up working well how I wanted it to, then it was just a sign to me that that was something that wasn't appropriate in my life, and it wasn't having the long-term place in my life that maybe I thought it would have. It just had a short-term one. It was just like a recourse. So that's for the skeptics who say, oh, well, you have to always think about the worst case. It's like, okay, I understand that, but I'm also going to lead assuming that I'm going to lead putting the energy in that is required for the outcome that I'm looking for. And then if it doesn't align, it was just a simple filter system of, okay, don't focus on that anymore, focus on this next thing. It's just a recourse. So to start focusing on putting out the energy, not overthinking so much, just assuming that everything's happening exactly how it should for the reality that you want and acting in a way that you already have the reality is what I personally practice in my life that's reflected in a lot of the results that I got. You know, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in my training, whether it's in business, how I handle with people, it's all because I started assuming the best. I started not judging or worrying about what people thought of me, and I assumed that I am a valuable person. And obviously I had to prove to myself that I am by following through with things that I said that I would do, to get in shape, to get good at music, to get good in business, all of it. So I do have to prove to myself, but also assume that I am deserving at the same time, just to make sure that my actions are in alignment with my thoughts. And that now I have a filter mechanism to always catch if I'm starting to overthink. And the way that I know that I'm overthinking is the energy behind it. I can feel when it's a low vibration energy, when it's led by fears and insecurities and doubts. When you're starting to feel that, it's like a signpost to me that, hey, that's not real. That's not real. That's your fear. That's insecurity. And then I can bring awareness, call it out and be like, okay, stop it right here. That's enough. And not dwell on it. It's important that you move on, you move forwards. So you catch it and you don't dwell on it and identify with it. You're just like, okay, interesting. Oh, that's a fear. Stop it. Not real. And then focus immediately back on the positive, immediately back on being the person you want to be with the thoughts that that person has. And the more you keep doing that and course correcting, you're going to really start aligning with that person and that lifestyle. And that's how things can really start to curate. So you got to catch the fear, you got to catch the insecurity and realize it's not you. Don't act upon it and immediately course correct to the new version of you that you are becoming, that you simply are at that point. So that's my message, okay? Don't even identify as an overthinker. I said it in the video to catch your attention, but if you identify as an overthinker, I'm an overthinker, well, that's your identity, which means you'll reinforce that identity through your actions and your thoughts. It all starts with the thought first, then it goes into your actions. So when you think you're an overthinker, that's what you are, and that's how you're going to act. And you only make that identity stronger. So you need to let go of that. I'm not an overthinker. You actually got to take on the identity of exactly who you want to be. You take that now, and you act through that person until your reality crystallizes around that new identity. That's what you need to do. And every time that you see any remnant of the old patterns, realize it's not you, bring awareness to it, and then immediately course correct to the new you. It's as simple as that. And you rinse, repeat it over and over again. And it can get tough sometimes in the midst of it, when you're feeling the emotion, the negativity, that's fine. The bigger deal you make out of it, the bigger deal it will be. So when it feels like shit, you just go, oh, interesting. And then you just literally course correct. How can I serve? How can I be, the person that I need to be? What would they do right now? And literally do it. Like me filming this video is because I experienced that. And I said, no, just do what that version of you does. Film this video, create content, help other people. Because I'm helping you and I'm helping other people, I feel good. I'm not even worried about that fear or insecurity or doubt. I'm acting away to remove the overthinking that just wasn't real anyways, because it's a low vibrational frequency. That's not me. I don't identify with that. I identify with this version, the high vibrational frequency state. All of a sudden, I feel fucking great. That's how you do it, guys. That's how you do it. Yeah? And it's as hard as you make it. So if you think it's hard, it will be hard. But you got to brainwash yourself. You got to tell yourself it's easy, it's easy, it's easy. Oh, hiccup. It's okay. It's easy. Course correct. Until you simply are. So you be around the people who live like this. Get out of your head, get into your body more as well, start moving more. If you ever experienced that negativity, that doubt, and then also practice decision-making abilities. Don't identify with the overthinking version. It's not real. It's all made up. Identify with the person that you want to be and just be that person right now. Because now is the only moment that exists, which means if you're acting like that person, it means you are that person. There's no difference. It's the only moment that exists. So just be it now. That's who you are. Nothing else exists. So choose who you want to be now. And don't let anyone tell you you are not, because that's based off of the past, which isn't real anymore. So you must have the deep understanding within yourself of who you are right now. And be that person now as many times as possible until your subconscious believes that's who you are. And now your whole identity has shifted to not being an overthinker. And you can step into the new you.